So this is what happened. My boy Woody McLean hit me up and said that he needed me for a last-minute shoot. So I cleared my schedule and I showed up. We drove about an hour out of Atlanta to this random house. We were setting up the scene and then Woody walks over and just daps me up.
Appreciate you, but this one's all on you.
Got it. We got this, man. Yeah.
All right. All right.
The energy was good, the lighting was clean, and the frames were rolling, and everything just felt like it was working perfectly. However though, later that day, when I actually got all my footage uploaded, I saw something. After transferring all the footage, I opened up one of the main shots just to take a look at the screen, and I already know. The white balance was absolutely wrecked. The skin tones were off, and there's this weird cast over everything. I must have had like the wrong setting locked in during setup, and this sucked. So I take a breath, I sit down, and I open up Adobe Premiere Pro. And let me show you how I fixed it. I used one of the most slept on tools in the Lumetri Color panel, HSL Secondary. So first I opened up Premiere Pro. Once you are inside Premiere Pro, you can see your footage here. Look how horrible this looks. I can see like a blue tint being casted over this otherwise perfect piece of footage. First things first, we're gonna go over to the Lumetri Color panel. If you don't see the Lumetri Color panel, go over to Window and make sure that Lumetri Color is checked. First, make sure your clip is actually clicked, and then we're gonna go over to HSL Secondary. Click the caret, and then we're gonna go to Key. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna select the color of the skin by setting the color using the eyedropper. We're then gonna click on a skin, and then we're going to use the HSL tools, stands for hue, saturation, and luminance, to literally select his skin and his skin only. So first we look at his skin, and we're like, okay, it's gonna be kind of a reddish hue. You can turn on the color gray checkbox to see exactly what you have selected. Then we can then go over to saturation and guess kind of, okay, saturation is gonna be maybe mid right here. That selects a little bit more of a skin. Then we're gonna go to luminance. This is referring to specifically bright and dark values. We understand his skin's a little bit darker, so we're going to choose a little bit on the darker end. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna then go back and see if we can get more based on changing these values. So as you can see, we're getting less, so we're gonna go now to the other side. Okay, that's probably as good as you're able to get. Now we're going to go back to saturation, see if we can get a little bit more. Nope, we're getting less, so we're gonna go back a little bit now. Okay, we're getting less again, we're gonna go back. We're getting less again, so we're gonna go back again. I'm now gonna maybe expand the values a little bit. What I think I'm gonna do now is, I'm happy with this key. This gave me a good portion of his skin. Next, I'm gonna then go to the blur. And I'm gonna blur my key out a little bit, just so it's a little bit softer on the edges. I'm then gonna go over to my actual correction color wheel. And what this is doing is it's actually applying the color correction. I'm now gonna go over to the Lumetri scopes. And I'm going to have a quick look at what it's telling me. Right here is the skin tones line. The skin tones line is where everything should technically be aligned, and we can see that a lot of it is actually aligned on the skin tones line, but we have a little bit that's in the blue. If we were to uncheck this, we can see that there's a little bit of a blue tint, and it's gonna be more apparent when we actually go correct it. So what we're gonna do is we're going to counteract the blue tint by going in the opposite direction and adding more of the opposite of blue, which is more on the orangish side. Let's uncheck color gray to see our selection, and then let's turn on and off the HSL secondary effect to see the true effect of what we've done. You can see how it was originally a lot more blue. If you click it on, you can see that it's getting better. It's definitely less blue. The skin tones are more true. The issue that I don't like though is I can see kind of his pants are a little bit, I'm changing the color a little bit in his pants too. And I'm not sure if that's exactly what I want. Let me actually click on the color gray, and I can see that I have his pants selected. I really don't want that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to change my selection just so I can get a little bit less of his pants. Because the point was just to affect his skin. So let's see what I can do. As you can look now, you can see that more of the colors are aligned only along the skin tones line, and I've taken out some of the colors that were kind of like melting back into the blue section. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over to the basic color correction and then maybe slightly just globally adjust the color temperature so it's just a little bit warmer. It takes out a little bit of warmness in the background that I see. Another thing I might wanna do is I might wanna just lower the saturation on him just a little bit. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over to the toggle bypass button, which is gonna turn on and off this entire effect, just so I can see how it looks. That's how it looked before. Look at that ugly blue cast. And this is how it looked after. So much better. Woody's skin looks natural again, balanced and clean. And all that was done right inside Adobe Premiere Pro. No LUTs, no plugins, just the tools that you can get right inside the software. And by the way too, if you're working with log or raw footage, Premiere Pro now has a huge color management update. It automatically converts to Rec 709 or HDR without LUTs, which makes color correction way easier. So yeah, if you ever mess up on white balance for a shoot, don't panic, open Lumetri, isolate the skin tones, and fix it like a pro. The footage was saved, crisis was avoided, and Woody never even noticed.